Hey, what's up? So, this video is a little bit different, and this is for all you young people that are trying to go to these industrial spaces and want to convert them to, you know, gardens and livable space and all that. And actually, I'm totally on board with this. But this video is we're gonna call it industrial space. Watch out for stuff, okay? And you might hire a home inspector to look at this. There's things, maybe we'll just go through some of these photos here and I'll tell you some things to look for when you're walking through an industrial space that you're thinking about, especially, for living in, okay? So obviously this was an industrial space that isn't being used anymore. Obviously it had a heating system. Just remember, the ducts are going to be completely contaminated, whatever they did in the system. So you may be doing what's called a phase one audit and finding out what they did here the last 30 years. Are there storage tanks, underground tanks? Was it a lead smelter? Was it a paint shop? Was it a car shop? And then whatever you find out it was, go study that and find out all those contaminants, okay? Because you may have contaminated concrete. Maybe you could have radiation in there. You know what I mean? So usually, don't worry about the foundation walls. They're usually masonry block. If there are holes in them, fix them. No big deal. Okay. Garage doors, and you also look at the pan decking, and you can tell that this roof isn't that old. It's not new. Okay, it's not wood, right? It's a structural steel with metal decking, and chances are the welds are okay because they would have fallen down, right? So I'm not worried too much about that, okay? I am worried about drains. A lot of these have roofs that have drains in the roofs. They're flat roofs. Chances are they're going to be bad, especially at the connections, because that's where the damage starts. So yes, there'll be some roof repairs, some drain repairs, okay? Anything that was in walls, probably plumbing, domestic, will have to be replaced. Now, you might get lucky with some drains, sink urinals, things like that. And of course, here you can see the asbestos, right? So you'll have to do a cleanup job for environmental before that. If you go to the bank, they're going to do a phase one, and you may have to do a phase two. It may not be feasible to be buying the building that has a lot of environmental cleanups. The floors are going to be painted, and you know what? Pre-1978 lead paint. It's industrial. It's commercial. You're not going to have babies licking the floor. So I'm not sure I'd worry about it. Here I'd be thinking, like, why is this all dirty? What were they doing here? What's this black stuff? What were they doing in this factory? Also, you could see a lot of all your shutoffs. You got galvanized plumbing, right? You're going to have to replace all the plumbing, okay? And we'll just, I don't know where I was at. Let's just start here. I got thousands of photos, so we're not going to go through all of them. And so you think about all the plumbing, okay, all the dust. Now, this one here, these are rivets, and, they haven't done rivets in a long time. So a lot of the older is probably 1920s, right? So at this point, if it's really that old, you might want to check some of the welds, and some of the bolted connections, because if this place had roof leaks, you can jeopardize welds. So definitely maybe have a structural engineer or a good home inspector at least spot check your joist and structural system. Masonry block, if there's cracks, shrinkage cracks, settlement cracks, that happens. Most of the time, the damage is from tow motors banging up against the walls. If there's sewer flies, then you got open traps. You might have to snake the drains. You might even have to, run a camera through all the underground. The electrical all will have to be redone because whatever they had, what kind of factory it was, it was designed for what they were using it for. So you're going to have all the stuff in the wrong places. Not to mention the lights aren't going to be any good for you either, because those old lights, man, they flicker, and they're part of indoor air pollution now because of their flicker rates. It can cause indoor headaches, fatigue, and they used to call it sick building syndrome, had those lights in there. So you're probably going to replace the lights. I'm not real big on LEDs, but LEDs aren't even a great frequency of lighting because they create harmonics, which is a whole other issue. And I have YouTube videos on that. And so, you can see this particular place, when you go inside it, you want to think about, number one, the environmental issue, the environmental contamination. Do your research. Find out what that company did before. Go check it all out. If you're borrowing money, you might have to do a phase 1 audit, and that's a bank audit. And then a guy like me, well, not me, I don't do them anymore, but somebody will come out there. That's going to charge you $2,000 just for that. And then he may hold money in escrow to clean up. So do your homework before you put down 5, 10 grand, because a lot of these sellers or investors, man, you might have to fight and get your money back. You can see how the electrical doesn't work here, and you can see basically the cleanup job is going to be big. Another thing is there's going to be birds in there. Be careful, wear a mask because of all the bird feces. You don't want to get histoplasmosis. So, anyways, make sure you check out your industrial site before you buy it to do something to it. And then once you do the environmental, do a feasibility study on it. Then, of course, you're going to have to figure out what you have to, your architect, make your plans. You can always get preliminary plans and ask your architect how much per square foot if I got to, whatever I'm doing. And you could add that into the fee. I'm not here to do a real estate and teach real estate. But a lot of people will buy these things and they'll get into some crazy stuff. And all of a sudden they're like, I got underground storage tanks, 5 of them. I can't get a loan. So, check out your stuff. So, hey, this was Industrial Space by Marko. Oh, by the way, I do have a service on YouTube called Call Marko with a Question. Marko with a K. You can also find me just Cleveland. I'm a Clevelandmarko. You can find me anywhere. Clevelandmarko, one word. Also below, I have some links on some things that you could buy that may be related to this. If you don't buy anything from, that's fine. But if you got to buy anything from Amazon, hey, grab one of the links in one of my videos and just punch in what you need. That would help me out. I get a percent. I don't really beg for money doing these things. I don't get paid for doing these things. So it helps a little bit, with cameras and lenses and things like that. Also, please rate, subscribe, and you can Google Call Marko with a Question. It's a small service I have, Marko, M-E-R-K-O, Call Marko with a Question. Google it. And for, 15, 20, 30 minutes, you can ask me your questions about a certain problem that nobody else can solve. You can send me photos. You can send me correspondence. It could be like you're getting ripped off by a roofer or something. I don't know. You want me to read it, look at a few pictures, read a few things. I do that service. Call Marko with a Question. So rate, subscribe, share, hit the bell and the button, and then call Marko with a question. Thanks.